All right, Kook fans, we have a great episode for you today as we have on two of the newest Washington State University commits in quarterback Steele Pizzella and wide receiver Jack Foley. These are two guys that you'll want to get to know. They'll be having an impact on the Washington State football team here in the near future. We'll put them in order of when we interviewed them. So first off, we have wide receiver Jack Foley, who is a 6'4", 200-pound wide receiver out of Bend, Oregon. He was the number 5 overall prospect in the state of Oregon before signing, and he's not just a big guy that can catch 50-50 balls. He's also known to be a great route runner with speed. After Jack, we'll have on his future roommate in quarterback Steele Pizzella. Steele is known to be one of, if not the fastest recruit out of any position in the state of California. He ran track the past few years, and his junior year, he ran a 10.64 100-yard dash. For context, Lamar Jackson's high school time was 11.45, and DK Metcalf is 10.37. And he chose WSU over offers from Georgia, Utah, Kansas, Texas A&M, and many others. To those of you out there watching this, thank you for your support. Make sure to like this video and give it a share with a fellow Kook fan. And if you are a current WSU commit, a current player on the team, or have played in the past, this is also your official invite to come on the podcast. We're just trying to help share people's stories. Send me a DM and let's get in contact. And if you'd like to support the Couch GM brand, again, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And this podcast is sponsored by Black Label Supplements. They are a third-party tested, athlete-approved supplement company here in the Pacific Northwest. If you are in the gym looking to maximize your workouts, make sure to check out blacklabelsupplements.com. Use code CouchGM for 15% off your order. And for the best coverage of WSU athletics, make sure to check out KookFan.com. They are our go-to resource for all things Cougar athletics, and it is well worth the subscription. And as always, if you or someone you know is thinking of buying, selling, or refinancing a property in the Pacific Northwest, make sure to reach out to myself, Connor Webb, the Couch GM, as I'm actually a full-time mortgage broker during the day when I'm not making these sports videos, and it's my job to assist my clients in finding the best mortgage financing option for their needs. I'll have a link in the description of this video if you'd like to reach out and connect. And with that, let's get into the podcast. All right, Jack, thanks for joining us on the podcast. Excited to hear some of your backstory. So let's start to earlier this week to when you put the pen to the paper and committed to Washington State. Can you walk us through what that day meant for you and your family?
Yeah. First and foremost, thank you guys again for having me on. But yeah, putting the pen to the paper, that was a big deal for my family and I. Just kind of a full circle moment. My recruitment started all the way back in probably January. They offered me January 31st. So it's been a long time. Probably about like getting close to a year now. So just kind of big relief, shutting it down, being 100% in. Just it was a very joyful day.
You had two different visits to Pullman. Take us through kind of the crazy 3-day span from November 9th to November 11th. Obviously decommit from Wake Forest. What did that second visit do for you in maybe securing your way home to the Palouse?
Yeah, so I took my first visit to Wake Forest, and obviously, like, even Coach Dickert walked me through it a little bit, kind of being like, "Well, this is your first time, this is my first official visit, so this is the first time I'm getting the red carpet treatment. Them drive me around, buy me food. Like, of course, any kid's gonna love an official visit." And so I came home and I decided to commit to Wake Forest initially, and then I kind of let it sit for a couple of days, and it just wasn't feeling right. I wasn't super confident or super happy. And after a lot of conversations with Coach Dickert, Coach Edwards, and Chapo, the director of recruiting, we figured like you need to take this visit up to Pullman and make sure you made the right decision. Do it for yourself, do it for your family, and do it for the future team you're playing for. And it was perfect. I went up there and I absolutely loved it. I had a blast. So there wasn't a doubt once I stepped foot on campus that this is where I wanted to be.
Who kind of took charge in terms of player wise, helping you around Pullman?
Um, the main one was Chapo, the directing recruiter, and Coach Edwards. Big shout out to them. Um, Especially since I think it gets overlooked a lot, especially the director of recruiting. Everyone says, "Oh, coach this, coach that," but Miss Taylor and Chapo, the recruiting directors, they did a big part of it. They showed me around, even before I committed to Washington State, before my season, everything. Even like I had a back injury too, so before the back injury, like Chapo was always the one like you are our guy type of thing. So there was a lot of trust instilled in him, and he kind of took the ropes of it as long with Coach Edwards as well.
How much of WCU's playing style and, the production that they've been able to put out on the offensive side played into your commitment?
Definitely a big part of it. I think their offense fits me as a player perfectly. Being, that air raid spread offense, wanting to throw the ball around the field, like that is absolutely something I love. Especially being a wide receiver, watching their games, I have a blast. Just seeing all the wide receivers are eating every play, every play. So I love it.
Just one quick notch. Like, what can you kind of go over what happened with the back injury? Because I know Dicker on signing day kind of mentioned, hey, we needed to check a few things off. Obviously, they checked out.
Yeah. So in May, before my kind of junior summer, after my junior year, going into that summer, I was at a camp and I dove for a ball at a camp. I caught it, so don't worry, I caught it. But I slipped a disc in my back. I slipped my L5 disc, and so initially we're like, "Oh, this is like, I slipped a disc. Like, I'll be back, but it sucks." And then there was like a lot of pain, and we ended up getting it checked out, and I ended up fracturing two sides of my spine. So I fractured two sides of my spine, slipped a disc, and then my vertebrae was popped out at the bottom of my spine too. So it was a pretty serious injury, and it was definitely a test to my faith as well. Just trusting the process, knowing I'll get back out there. Initially, we went to about five spine surgeon, five doctors total, and like every single one, it was you're probably not going to play football again type of deal. Um,
Really?
yeah. So especially like, you know, uh, I wanted to keep open communication. Obviously, that's something I believe in. I don't believe in, hiding things from coaches. So the second it happened, I'm like, Coach, this is what happened. And, it's a tough deal, recruiting a kid, and they're getting papers back from their doctor saying, oh, this is a pretty serious injury. So there was a lot of steps that we had to take, but they believed that I would be back. Coach Edwards constantly texting me. I'm texting him, sending him videos of me working my way back in physical therapy, walking again, sprinting again, doing all that stuff. So
So to
Wow.
clarify, was there a
Wow.
surgery involved with that?
no, there wasn't a surgery. It was an option.
Okay.
But with those type of surgeries, it would have been a fusion, and it would possibly limit your mobility. So once you limit your mobility, you don't really know how football is going to go after that. And so we weren't looking to take no for an answer. So
And so that was after your junior season.
yes, sir.
Okay. So just to set the stage a little bit, your junior season, you said a school record 17 touchdowns. You then come back your senior year, you add 10 catches, about 450 additional yards, and tie that same school record. So walk me through your last couple years or that senior year that you just are wrapping up, and also walk me through kind of your play style and what to expect.
Yeah, my senior season was a blast. It was my first time being out there with all my best friends. So it was man, we had such a good time, especially we were another state championship team. Unfortunately, we didn't pull out the state championship win like we wanted to, but 2 years back to back, my junior and season years combined record of 24-2. My junior season, we graduated 22 seniors, and so it was me and two other players that were the only varsity
Wow.
players. So
Wow.
every single other person, was a JV player, and our motto was to reload, not rebuild the program, and that's exactly what we did. Um, but as far as being able to take in those big numbers, it all starts with my quarterback, one of my best friends, Mason Chambers. Shout out Mason if you're watching this. But yeah, he was able to, scramble around in the pocket, stay in the pocket, throw it deep to me. But as far as my playing style goes, I'm 6'5", 6'4", probably 6'4", 205 pounds. The biggest thing to me is that I am not just a deep threat wide receiver. I'm a route runner. I run routes, whether it's slants, posts, digs, out routes. I can do it all. But I would say that a lot of people kind of look over quickness of dudes that are tall like me, but I would say that's something that I definitely bring to the table is being quick off the line and being able to really stretch out vertically, but also be like able to run those mid routes too.
Who would you say you love watching tape wise on a guy that might be, in college already or maybe in the NFL that you really love watching on Sundays or Saturdays?
Probably, I love the I don't know how to say his full name, but number 4 in Arizona, the McMillan, that guy, yeah,
McMillan?
McMillan,
Yeah,
yeah. No,
yeah, the first
I'm a
name's
big
tough for me.
yeah, Tedero or something like that, but
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his style, just the way he, creates separation at the top of his routes, and I wouldn't say he's just a deep threat, they give him in the quick game too, just like the, over the top of the defense too. I'm a big fan of McMillan, and then as far as NFL goes, I think a comparison I sometimes get is A.T. Perry on the Saints. 6'5" guy, runs really good routes, separation, stuff like that.
Man, you're pulling him out. Wow, A.T. Perry.
Yeah, definitely.
So how much were you watching this season of the Cougs and Mateer, Kyle Williams, Josh Meredith, Hernandez, all those guys? How much were you involved in watching this year?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I watched every single game. Unfortunately, like we all know they had a tough kind of end to the regular season and stuff like that. But as far as like the passing game goes, I've loved watching it. Especially what Mateer brings to the table, being able to run on foot too. It really keeps defenses honest. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Kyle Williams and how he gets the ball for the Cougars, and Hernandez too. I love watching him as well.
Now
And
you're
then
an
working
early
into
enrollee too, correct? Oh, my
Yes,
bad.
sir. Yes, sir.
What do you think the type advantage that's going to give you? I know 11 of the 23 enrollees are going to be early enrollees. Do you, like what's your goal when you get on campus for year one?
I would say, for all the football players too, like, why wouldn't you take up on a chance to get in the weight room early, get in conditioning with the team early, learn the playbook early? Even me, like, I'm a basketball player too. But I decided that like this is what I want to do. Like, I have an extra, I don't know how many months, but that many months learning the playbook, doing all that stuff with the team, like that's it's gonna set me apart so much and give me a huge advantage as far as that goes. But I'm excited. I'm not expecting anything, but I'm really excited to get to work and show people that like I can play with these guys. So I'm really excited just to get to work, get in the weight room, especially, and just join this wide receiver room.
You kind of answered that question. A question I was going to have is, what other sports did you play growing up or in high school?
Yeah, I played. Well, I started football in high school, so I started my freshman year a little late than most people, but I was a big soccer guy actually. So I played soccer all my life. So I think that definitely helped with my feet quickness. So I'm happy I actually did that. But big basketball guy. I play for a different school. I would go to a private school, so I attend a different school than I play football for. And so I play basketball with them. I'm a point guard, so it's really just basketball and football.
6'5" point guard. That's a big for a high school point guard, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good, but yeah.
He's definitely going to be in the rec center summertime when all the football players are trying to run fives in
Oh,
the
for
in the
sure.
U rec.
We've already been in like in the group chat with the recruits talking about it, getting in the rec
Oh,
center.
that's good stuff. Because
Yeah.
you guys don't know how to play offense, but you'll come in and you'll play some good defense and bang on the boards. Those football players.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
You mentioned you only started playing football your freshman year in high school. You gotta dive into that. How did football start? Did somebody just see your frame and say, "Hey, why are you not on the gridiron?" Or
It's kind of yeah, I don't really know. My mom's a nurse, so she was really against like the, dudes hitting their heads against each other and stuff like that. And I like soccer. I wasn't one of those guys that, grew up watching NFL really. Like I still don't really watch NFL that much. I'm a big college football guy, more of that. But it's kind of just, eighth grade year, I'm seeing my friends play football and I'm like, this looks kind of cool. Even my freshman year, I was just playing it for fun. But I think my sophomore year, I kind of realized like this is what I want to do, type of thing.
So were you thinking you wanted to play basketball in college maybe up to that point?
Yeah, I thought basketball, being a super tall, lengthy guy, especially when I was younger, I didn't have any weight on me really. So I was definitely like thinking basketball is my thing. My dad's, 6'7", so he played basketball in college too. So I was like, oh, I'm a basketball player. But the second I put the pads on and the physicality of football, I loved it.
Where did your dad play college ball at?
He played at Point Loma in
Oh,
college.
really? Okay.
Yeah,
That's like 10 minutes from me.
right on.
And getting into some of the recruits, Steele Pizzella, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be feeding you the ball at some point in the near future. How much have you connected with him, and how much have you seen him play? He's gotten comparisons already to John Mateer with a similar dual threat capability. Yeah, what is your communication with him been?
Yeah, well, I mean, so far, I mean, we're gonna be roommates. So
Really?
Okay.
so far we have a great relationship. He texted me even when I was committed to Wake Forest at the time, kind of talking about it. Him and Chapa were kind of working together a little bit, texting me like just some information about Washington State, what's been going on. So I mean, you heard Coach Dicker probably in the interview the other day, like glue guys. Steele is one of those glue guys, and so I'm excited. We are both excited. I mean, we're FaceTiming throughout the week and stuff, talking about like what we're gonna do with our dorm and who's bringing what. But I think we both have the same mindset that we're coming in here to work. That's why we're coming in here early. Especially, I mean, having a quarterback as a roommate, we can go hit the field whenever we want. He can always throw to me. If it's not him, it's the jug machines too, but he'll always be throwing to me. So I'm really excited to start building this relationship.
The guy runs a 10.6 100-meter. I mean, that's in between DK Metcalf and where Lamar Jackson's 100-meter was in high school. That's insane.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've watched a lot of his film. He's a special player. So yeah, he's very talented.
If you guys are roommates year one, my goodness. I mean, just, you hear like color commentators or whatever always say, the amount of routes, the amount of passes, just the amount of synergy that can go into this relationship going forward. That's interesting to hear.
Yeah. No, I mean, you hear it around college football. I think there's a quarterback wide receiver duo for Missouri right now. And every touchdown that the kid scores, they talk about their connection and roommates. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, Jack, really appreciate you coming on, taking the time. Again, congratulations for officially committing to WSU, and looking forward to seeing you on the field sometime soon.
Go
Yes, sir.
Cougs.
Thank you guys. Go Cougs. Thanks for having me
Go
on here.
Cougs. All right, Steele, thanks for joining us on the podcast. Excited to hear about a bit about your story. First off, congratulations. Earlier this week, you signed with Washington State. Let's start there. How was that day for yourself and your family putting the pen to the paper?
Oh, it was an awesome experience. You get to look back on all of the memories, also the hard work that was put in to get to this moment. And especially for me, because there's obviously been ups and downs, but I'm really excited to be able to have the opportunity and that it all worked out. And there's no other place I'd rather be. So it was just a kind of emotional, but a great moment to have. And I'm really excited.
Steele, I think everybody and every Coug has the same question I'm going to ask here. You were offered by Georgia, Texas A&M, Utah, Arizona. Why WSU?
Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons, but to keep it simple, I love the family environment. I love the culture that Coach Dickert brings to the program. When I went on my official visit, nothing but love from all the guys. It was just a great experience to be able to be up there. Plus, I like the area. I like Pullman just in general. I've always wanted a college town, something more tranquil, be able to really focus on school and athletics, especially coming from Sherman Oaks, LA, where there's so much going on. Like, I think a good reset and kind of just being able to focus in on what matters most to me. That's kind of what stuck out to me. But also my class, my recruiting class, the 2025 commits, those guys, I love them, especially on my OV. I had specifically Luke Webb. I actually played against him in as a junior. He was at J. Sarah before he moved up to Washington. But like little things like that, I just connected with the guys really quickly, and it just felt right. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, going from Southern California to Palouse, there's not much bigger of a difference as you can get. And talking about one of your teammates, Jack Foley, we're going to get into that
Okay.
relationship here in a bit. But digging a little bit more into that recruiting process, your first offer was 3 years ago, early on in your high school career. So just walk me through the last 3 years, basically, and what that experience was like for you in going to that Texas A&M camp in 23, those offers, and then
Yes.
WSU coming in later in 24.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, it's been a roller coaster. There's always going to be ups and downs, especially in this recruiting process. There's tons of things changing. Obviously, the transfer portal is a big thing within college football. But yeah, within as my freshman year started, obviously getting that first offer was great. Being able to get on the field and play varsity and actually have some varsity film, what projected me forward to have it so early on. Also, my throwing coach is just amazing to be able to get me into that specific position. Coach Sam Fisher from Throw to Win. But it's been, there's things that you lose contact with certain coaches. There's so many coaches that move around that, maybe they want you at one program and then maybe they don't have as much leverage at that next program. And so the connection kind of, filters out and kind of like dissolves. So yeah, I mean, I started as a freshman to sophomore year. I was picking up those offers and I was just kind of really trying to see where I want to be just as a school, from a school reference, and like where I want to play. Like I wondered, is location going to matter? Is the type of school, city school versus rural, like is that going to matter to me? And then slowly as I got towards junior year, I was like, all right, let me narrow down who I feel most connected to as a coaching staff, and then also that staff that matches what I want in a school. And so that slowly got to narrow down, and I got to talk to Coach Arbuckle, got to talk about Washington State, and he came to see me throw, and it was just an amazing experience. And then also going on that OV, like it really kind of sealed the deal for me. So because I will admit, I've toured a ton of schools. Like right off the top of my head, obviously Southern California, but then all the way as far as Michigan State, like all the way to the East Coast, see if I'm going to be able to handle that area, how cold it gets. Obviously it gets still pretty cold in Washington, but those things I've kind of being able to have that earlier on has made me realize like, okay, I don't need to pick a school based off of weather because I truly don't care. Like that's just a decision that I made because I was able to have those experiences like as a sophomore and be able to kind of compile all of like what I want into school. And so, yeah, once going up to WSU, it just really sealed the deal for me. And that being able to have all that experience earlier on really helped me make an educated and a perfect decision, which is what WSU.
Now, obviously, everything happens, everything leads up. And then was Coach Arbuckle the main point on you in terms of the recruiting process with WSU?
To be honest, it wasn't just Coach Arbuckle. Yes, he was a leading factor initially, but once I had started I talked to Coach Dickert and I talked to Coach Coos as well. They all, like, to be honest with you, it was everyone. Like it wasn't just Coach Arbuckle. I love Coach Arbuckle and I love what he brings to the table. Really, really, really smart within football and also a great person. But obviously meeting Coach Coos, and I've developed a great relationship with him, and I love to have him as my coach. And then obviously Coach Dickert, like I can tell you all this happened even before, just a little bit before, but like at the OV, it was really what sealed the deal. Like having that conversation with Coach Dickert in a personal setting, also just in a public environment, and talking to Coach Coos, talking about the offense, talking about all these certain things, and then just also life in general and how we've all led up to this point. Like all those connections matter to me. So I would say it's really just like a universal, that's why I love it so much. It's a universal initiative towards me, which that's what I value.
And then how much of that playing style and that history of, quarterback university, basically Gardner Minshew, Cam Ward, all these guys recently, John Mateer, how much of that played into your decision?
Well, obviously having that and knowing that that's a place I'm going to, and being able to have that factor in my decision, obviously a plus, and it's a positive. It's a great thing. Knowing that Cam Ward, like obviously he's balling out, NFL draft, he's gonna be a great guy in the NFL. Like having that, knowing that if I apply myself the way I know I can apply myself in this program, that could very well be me. Like that, it's like they be able to back up like what they can do, and obviously having that credential is like very, very, very like awesome. Basically, it's like awesome to have that, and like it makes me realize like I'm gonna be developed. I'm gonna be able to fix the things that need to be better because you can always be better and be able to rise to the occasion at that elite level. And I really do believe that they can do that for me.
This might be a question fans would be pretty interested in hearing, and this is the last thing I'll say on the Arbuckle side of things. But did he let you know ahead of time, hey, this is likely going to happen, or was there just
Well, I
no
think
talk at all?
I think it was just because it happened so fast that, like I think, I don't know exactly how the decision went down, but when I had found out about the decision, I did not know beforehand. But what I will say is obviously there's rules and regulations with if he had already taken that, like it signed pen on paper with that offer, where it's like, if it's a dead period or a quiet period, where if you're even able to talk to me about it, right? So I'm not too sure about that, but I know that he means good, and I'm happy for him and his decision. It's a great step in his career. Obviously, I wish I could learn under him. I mean, he's a great coach, and I was really planning on that. But I'm putting my trust, and I 100% believe in Coach Dicker to get in the next right guy, and having Coach Kuz there with me all along the way. It did not waver my decision at all.
Have you heard anything in terms of what they might be looking at? Have they said anything in terms
No,
of
I
that?
have not. All I have heard is that we are getting someone, obviously, and it's going to be the right person, and it's going to be able to elevate Washington State, which I truly believe will happen.
Yeah, and you take a look. I mean, the last two offensive coordinators he's hired have Eric Morris has since taken a job at North Texas. He obviously helped bring Cam Ward over here, and obviously Arbuckle now coaching at Oklahoma. One thing Connor brought up the other day is just the amazing 100-meter speed. It's in between where Lamar Jackson was in high school and DK Metcalf. I mean, how crazy is that to know that like you're just around those names?
It's awesome to me. Like, honestly, it doesn't even feel real sometimes, because like I just put my head down and work the majority of the time. And then when I get some of those accolades, I'm like, wow, like I take a step back and I'm like I'm really doing some stuff. And I just like, I'm very grateful that I know that I put in the hard work. And so sometimes I get so put into the hard work that I don't even take a step back and realize like that some of that's being spread around. But it's awesome. I love being in that conversation, and I hope to be in that conversation for a long time, and like in the future, and at an even higher level. But yeah.
And to add some color to that, correct me if I'm wrong, but your record is a 10.64 in the 100-meter, and you also helped your 4x100 relay team to finish fourth in California. Walk me through when you first got into track and what other sports you might have played growing up, and what that looks
Yes.
like.
So baseball was my main sport since 5 years old. I've traveled.
Hold up. What'd you play? Position wise, did you
Okay,
pitch?
well,
Like
the thing
you got
is,
Shortstop.
played everything. Like at such a young age, like I've moved around. One year of little league, I would be playing first, then I'd be playing second, then I'd be playing outfield. But I would say it really stuck to me at 9 to 10 years old. I was on a travel ball team called Bonet. Still love Coach Adam Goldstein, amazing coach, great mentor in my life. But we have built a power team, and we went to the World Series. And we were like ranked number 2 in California at 9 and 10 years old. So it was like hardcore, like travel baseball for a long time in my life. And that kind of developed my work ethic and be able to apply it to when football took course. When I moved to Simi Valley, California, is where I started doing around 12 years old, like football and baseball because of the GCYFL out there. So that's where I really got introduced to football. But yeah, baseball has been my main sport, and I played it all the way up until freshman year of high school. I played freshman year, freshman on JV, was gonna be brought up for varsity, didn't do it because we had a summer ball for, or spring slash summer ball for football, obviously. And then sophomore year, I do my sophomore season at Simi Valley High School, and then I transferred to Notre Dame High School, and I'm thinking, I could play baseball here. It would take a lot of my time up. And I'm wondering, is that what can apply myself best? Because I try to make that shift of like, I really want to kind of do football. Like I've realized that I love this sport a little bit more than baseball. So I was like, let's go all in. I took down baseball, or I stopped playing baseball, and I moved it over to track. And I trusted in my abilities to get faster. Sophomore year, it was 10.9 for me, and then junior year 10.64. Obviously, that track experience was great for me. I've learned so many things about my body, about things to work on and not work on, and then being able to apply it onto the football field has been a big thing, at least this year. I know that I've seen growth within the speed and the way I can play the game in certain situations because of track. And I also give that to Coach McNabb, who's been our track coach for so long, and he knows all the things to be able to prepare me for that moment. So it's definitely benefiting me a lot within the football aspect.
And so this year you passed for over. Go for it.
Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, so this year you passed for over 2,600 yards. You have over 60% completion percentage, 29 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, and then you also had over 1,000 yards on the ground and 8 touchdowns, averaging 8.4 yards per carry. So walk me through your overall playing style. Obviously, it's easy to say that you're a dual threat quarterback, but who would you compare yourself to? Who do you look up to for that? And walk me through that.
Okay, so the first person that I honestly want to think about all the time, and he doesn't get referenced enough, I feel, is Baker Mayfield. I love the way that he plays, the fire he brings to the game, and also the way he plays. I would say that the way that I model my game is not based off of any specific quarterback. It's based off of the nature that I have, and just using my intuition and my natural like gifts of knowing when and when not to do certain things. But obviously, Baker Mayfield, the way he plays, I do aspire to some things like that, especially the way that he rallies his troops basically, and the way he brings that leadership role to the football team. I've definitely taken that as much as possible from him. I love saying Aaron Rodgers. I like Cam Ward's calm and collected, like the nonchalant stuff from him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've taken some of that, and it's definitely helped me relax in certain situations. Obviously, I don't think I'll ever be as nonchalant as he can be, and how calm he can be in the pocket, just the way he looks. But it has helped me reassure myself in situations and be able to have a clear mind to throw and to run if needed. But I will say, 100% I am a pass first quarterback. I look to pass, and I'm going to throw that ball. When I need to run, I'm going to run, and I'm going to use the gifts that I have to be able to run. And obviously that's displayed within the stats. And I definitely think that's how I model my game. Is I'm going to get my balls to my guys, to my receivers. And if a play breaks down and we need to have a scramble drill and there's no other option, I'm ready to go.
You do know that Baker Mayfield almost walked on at Washington State under Mike Leach. Yeah,
Yes.
that was a story that Baker told a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean obviously that says a lot about Washington State as a program too. Like just those things, like all of it putting together, going back on to why I made this decision, like all these things adding up is obviously why I made that decision. And yeah, being able to have Baker Mayfield as like a model, and also all the other quarterbacks like Bryce Young too. I think the way that he's dealt with adversity this season, obviously I'm going a little more new gen, but I think I relate to these guys more because they're closer in age to me, at least, and the way that the game has played out for them, and how you have to get benched midway through season, go through adversity, start and have a great NFL, like rest of your NFL season. It's like things like that I pick up and try and take it mentally, not always the physical things like a flick or a release. It's like the way that you can carry yourself within a game and be able to keep your cerebral in check.
Bryce Young, all these names. Connor, we are getting old, man.
I know, right?
I remember growing up on Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
One other thing too is you're obviously early enrollee. Jack Foley mentioned you guys are going to be roommates, both early enrollees. What does it mean to you? And what are your goals? Are you trying to pack on a little weight? You trying to get in earlier? What are kind of the goals for you year one on campus?
Well, 100% having the opportunity and the ability to come in the mid-year is a blessing. 100%. Like being able to have reps in spring ball, being able to be around the team, be able to be there for the workouts early and get acclimated to college. All those things play a great factor into my development. Yes, I want to pack on weight, but I'm going to keep the speed 100%. I'm going to pack on the weight the right way in order to be able to have that, but also have something that is obviously is held highly to me in the way I play. So I'm going to keep both of those going. And I'm also going to develop the best connection I possibly can with Jack, with my guys, both offense and defense, and being able to just kind of deep dive into the culture aspect and the family environment and be able to get acclimated with everyone on the football team.
Yeah, Jack and some other guys, some solid recruits coming in on the offensive side. He's 6'4", 200, a big target. He scores a lot of touchdowns. But he mentioned that you guys are actually going to be rooming together, and mentioned that there might be some anime posters in the mail already. Walk me through your interest in anime and what might the decor in that room look like.
He told you guys that? That's crazy.
He did.
You might have to find a new roommate, man.
I know, like he's ratting me out. No, I mean, like, yeah, my choice of show, I like watching movies, but like anime has been a big thing for me too. There's a lot of lessons. I mean, a lot of people think it's weird. I've never thought of it like that. I kind of just look at the message that it brings, and I think it tells.
It's a stigma that's breaking, and it should break.
It better, because it tells really good stories that if you actually watch it the right way, you could actually take a lot out of it. So I do. It's a good form of entertainment for me. I haven't been able to watch as much recently, obviously for season and whatnot, but no, it's something that I enjoy for sure.
I got to ask the question: Are you a pizza guy? There's a potential big NIL, type combo up in Pullman at some point.
I am. Well, I'm Italian, so Pizzella. I mean, that gives it off right there. Yeah, no, I love pizza.
Shout out Coug Collective.
I'm ready for some pizza, man. Like, no doubt. Like, obviously, the last name, perfect play on words. I mean, I could obviously see that in the future. But yeah, no, I'm definitely fully focused on the football aspect and being able to prove myself as a top guy. And then, if those things come along, those are great. Those are great additives. I mean, that's the way that college football is now. NIL has been a big part of it. And yeah, I mean, you at some point you're going to have to play into it one way or another. But it's definitely not my main focus. My main focus is to be there and be developed and play the game of football, which is what I love to do. And that's why I want to be here and go to college for football, obviously. So,
did any Cougar quarterbacks reach out to you on National Intent Day?
I talked to John. John has been there for the OV. He was my host all the way up until now. Like, we've texted back and forth during season. Wow. I'd say that's like my main like player connection. So I really do enjoy having him be able to reach out whenever I need to, or just congratulate each other on awards or whatever it may be, or signing day, just things like that. I really appreciate from him. He's a great guy.
What was cool about your visit up at Wazoo, and he did man that for you? So he was taking you around campus and around the facilities?
Yes. So yeah, he was there for a main portion of it. And he was kind of like that whole host. He basically showed it to me the way that I think I wanted to see it. I got to be able to see all the academic buildings, all the dorms, and then the photo shoot was my favorite part because he kind of got me out of my comfort zone. I was kind of like he was like, dude, you got to lighten up a little bit. This is an OB. And I was like, I'm just like really trying to like analyze everything and like making sure like, okay, I got that. I know what that's about. But like, he made me lighten up a little bit. And that was like on the second day or it was on the first day at night. And he made me really enjoy the trip, to be honest with you. So it was just great having to be able to spend time with him, like even just like shoot hoops or whatnot, like being able to see what the culture is really within Washington State. Got to see him interact with other players and how that could be a way that I interact with players in the future. And I really like that aspect. So he presented it perfectly for me.
He's a former baseball player too. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
This is something I've never really heard the answer to. So when they go in for the photo shoot, do they show you the complex and then you're able to pick any combo of uniform that you want for the pictures, or did they already have it lined out for you?
I have mine lined out because I've told this to everyone. Like, everyone loves the photo shoots, and like we had to have an NCAA regulation for photo shoots at one point. And I was like, it's not about that for me. Obviously, I love the colors of Washington State, love the uniforms, and I love the whole entire style of like the way that they do the media and everything. But yeah, I mean, I just had a uniform there. I was ready to go. I was like, put it on. Like, this is perfect. This is what I want. I did get to pick, but it did not matter to me. I just want to feel myself in a uniform, to be honest with you. So, yeah. Did
you guys race? This is off the record.
We did. Okay. I can't disclose. Well, I can, but It was a close race. I'll just say that. Yeah, it was a close
All
race.
right.
Trust me. I mean, you could obviously see.
Sounds like you won.
No. I mean, no. Trust me. We can all see how John runs. I mean, it's obviously been proven throughout this whole season. So, yeah, no, he's been a baller this season, and I really do look up to him to an extent, obviously within the way he's played, and I really do hope he can mentor me for as long as possible.
Well, Steele, really appreciate your time. Again, congratulations on officially signing with Wazoo. We're looking forward to seeing you guys progress this spring and fall, and we'll see you on the field at some point soon.
Thank
Go
you.
Cougs.
Go Cougs. I really appreciate you
Go
guys.
Cougs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steele.